and whatever, whatever is on your mind addressing these particular issues. Again, talking about just a brief about the book. I'm not going to talk so much from the book, just perspective and what we're talking about. Again, for myself is relationship. And if you notice, for any book that you read dealing with relationships, we're all saying pretty much the same thing. It's either how to get along with, your mom and your cousin, your husband, your brother, how to get along with each other. That's all relationships are. That's what I'm talking about. And it's common sense. We just forget. We just sometimes forget. And the book, again, wasn't written from a college professor who read a manual. It was a woman who has some broken issues. She's been single for 46 years. And then too, it wasn't just about myself. It was just what was going on. And pull back again, when I said we all talking about relationships, and underneath, as you see, I have a design with the roses and the radiance and all that. It's designed, we talking about love at the end of the day. That's all at the end of the day, all these relationships, we're just talking about love. Get along with people and learning to love. And we struggling with that in our society, in our marriages, in our home. We're not going to go so much in what's going on in the world, because we see what just happened yesterday. Some self-love took place. There was a war going on with somebody inside. So when I talk about relationships, and you might see me writing about wifey guy, and you know my status, you're like, why did I write a wifey guy? She ain't a wifey. Well, you don't know my status as far as what I desire to be and what I want to be. If I can't be, I can help other people to be. The secret is to getting anything you want while giving him everything you need. Don't be taken back by that, like, what's she talking about? Listen to, some guys think that she don't know what I need. I got that. I'm in that. Here. But by the end of when they heard it, when I got done, I sat there, you don't even know I'm on your team. Because really, all I'm saying, the same thing is give and take. If you give somebody something, they'll give it back. And the first thing that people want is respect. The book goes and let you know first and tell you, when you identify who you are as far as a man or woman, and you know the position you're supposed to play when you're trying out in a relationship, it's the interview process, the job. And you want to go to the interview stage. You're saying, I want to apply for the position to be your wife or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend or your husband or whatnot. That's the interview process when y'all putting things on the table, you hash out that stuff. It goes to the next phase to see if they interview you as well. Then you go into the process to find out their qualifications, what they're about, if they're willing to deal with what you're dealing with. They want the job or not, then they'll sign on. You got a team is a couple. Then you actually know, when you think of, for my analogy, I'm a metaphor person, when you think of a team, a couple, I got a marriage couple, I'm going to introduce my panel in a minute, but just give you who I am and what I'm about and where I'm coming from. When I think of a team and a couple, it takes me to like basketball. We know what a team, football. A lot of people, they wear the jerseys and they have a position to play on the team. So when you sign on to this relationship and you say, I'm going to be this position as being a man, but you definitely need to know what a man is and what his role is. And every man might got different positions and roles. That's why you go through the interview process and find out what this job is about. You know what I'm saying? Right, because he may be, got another little agenda going on. And then I'm saying this man is supposed to lead you, so see where he leading you. Okay? So again, if you apply, you're going to play that position. You told him, I'm going to be this person, know what your role is as that woman, as that girlfriend, as that wife, play your position. Now we're going into the game. We in the game, we out to be in love, right? So if you guys on the field and you ain't never came to practice, you ain't playing your position, he or she gotta run all over the field trying to fill your spot in, then it's no need for you on the team. Am I right? So we gonna do it. Right. So if you ain't no good, you no good for the team, they usually have you remove your jersey, take that jersey because you no longer play a position. Let's fill it in with somebody else who's ready to play that position. So that's my analogy as far as how I look at with relationships. Last analogy, which I was talking with Tamara, we definitely is in agreement with, again, looking at a relationship as we all from an urban family that's dealt with potluck dinners, being invited to a potluck dinner, I'm sure. And you expect when you go to the potluck dinner, everybody have a pot. We're talking about love now, so we got the table here. This is the relationship, and this is the table. We coming to the table, and whenever we come to this table to eat, and we come to share, everybody has, at their home, they making them some love, right? So that's what we talk about, getting into self-love. You got to understand about self-love. I'm jumping over some things, which my books are not in order because I have a book coming out, 8 Basic Steps of Loving Yourself. Then we go into talking about how to identify, I don't have a hard copy here, but how to identify BS. Yes, the BS decoder. Right. How to identify BS from our way. Because I don't want to tell y'all to give somebody everything they need and they give you BS. Right. Or you get BS and expecting to get everything you need. But before you try to be a wife, or being a wife or looking for a wife, you got to learn how to, have this relationship with yourself, love yourself, and that's a whole nother subject. So when we get into that topic of talking about learning how to love yourself, then you go in. Now be at the potluck dinner. You loving yourself, he loving himself. Y'all come to the table. Once somebody come empty-handed, just come to eat. You've been those people, they bring Tupperware, they take it from you, because what you did was took it from your home. You took this pot from your home, and what you're not supposed to do, which I'm going to talk about what my sister does, I notice on holidays, she always leaves some food. I don't care if she's invited or a holiday, Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, she never they have food. She cook a Thanksgiving dinner in the house, and then she go to the house. So she leaves some for her family. So you don't go into this relationship giving all your food, right, and they just eat, and then now you just raw, you hungry, you emotional, you broken, you malnourished, So that's when you gotta have love. So even if the relationship don't work, you like, okay, I'm good. You get a sting, but you bounce back a little bit quicker. You know what I'm saying? It does work. So that's why I look at the analogy of relationship. If she's coming to the table and just always taking from you, and we get into energy and power, they pulling you down, that's when you find yourself, the people will use you as a source of energy. Exes come back, trying to plug in, tap you, and please, what happened, But if you got your power back, like something going wrong, now we can just address men, seeing that situation. Women do that too. They come back, So with that being said, you just keep your pot full and you keep some stuff at your house. So when you come in in a relationship, bring love in, share it, don't give it away. Give it away. Love is a gift, peace is a gift, happiness is a gift, all that is a gift. My source of love is come from God. He gives us that every day. It's for us to cherish it. If somebody give you a gift like I just gave y'all this book, hold on to this book like it's your life, and just don't give it away. Share the book with somebody else, but we share our love in relationship. We don't just give it away. So because if that's the case, if you give something away, then again, like I said, it's going to leave you vulnerable, emotional, and then again, those emotions going to get all over the place, and then your babies will get wild, they're going to tear up people's stuff, and just, what I'm saying, you guys been there. So that's my whole premise there. I'm going to move forward. Y'all got where I'm coming from, and that's all the book is talking about, just how to be a respectful person to that person, whether it's the woman, whether it's the man, and then there's some other little tips in there to share that you all know about. Again, a broken woman that had used their common sense and said, I want to make a change within herself and help other people to do the same thing as well. And everything is not, in the book is not for everybody. Some people here are in happy relationships and not talking to them. They're here to help, to share their insight, how they overcame the situations or how they overcame whatever the case may, whatever they've been. I'm talking too much because I don't want to tell their story. I have on my panel Mr. James Richardson. As far as bio, all I would actually say, so you'll know these people are coming from my childhood. So they know Stephanie before the wigs and the pieces. So this is how deep we go. So me to go into these people and ask them to come and support me, I'm honorable. So James is here with the experience, and James is a bachelor. Am I correct? He is a bachelor, so he comes with that experience as a bachelor man. So he'll give his perspective, and that's his expertise, and he'll come in that respect. I have Karen Singleton, and obviously the name tells it all. She's been doing it, but we've been Converse, tennis shoes, all that, ponytails, projects. So she comes from the background of single. Can I share your background as far as the title? Illegally married. We'll get into that. But when we say wow, wait. And you will learn about that. You'll learn about that. People who are married and not married, being the wifey and shouldn't be the wifey. She's transitioned her life, so she's joined my lifestyle. She's a singleologist. She's single. So, well, she's not single, but she's legally single until the papers happen. Papers put in place. We got LaShawn Hoyle, and LaShawn is single. She is single. She has been my friend forever in the day. She know about what's under here as well. So she knows my truth. That's true. She knows what happened before this event took place. I just came together, and I appreciate her. I just went to her, and she definitely said, you know, I would be honored. That's all I needed, and I was a happy lady. Tamara Anderson, again, childhood. We talked about high school. We started there. And then it merged until Facebook brought us all back together, a lot of my classmates together who still aren't here. I went to Mara's, same thing, you know, and we wasn't even hardly, like, we didn't have a tight relationship, but I'm friends with everybody. I don't have any enemies. But it's like her friendship was in a lot of different areas. But when I went to her, it was just like we were best friends. And she said yes, and she was honorable, and I just respect her and I love her for that. Tammy right here, this is Girl Scout brownie cookies. We can go back there. We talk about now the hero on the block. So yeah, she came in, and I'm sorry, Tamara comes from she's divorce single. Yeah, divorce single. That's it. That's all we hear. Yes, but that's her expertise of saying that she's given herself into that form of love. She has the expertise in relationship, in marriage, and then also renewing her self-love again. And we'll get more into that. So, you know, I respect her for coming and sharing that part of relationship, a personal relationship. Tammy Jenkins here is, like I said, been my friend for many years. She is married for 21 years, so she always ministering to me in a lot of different ways. Her husband right here, Jeff came into the family. He's been my right hand support. Anytime I come and I try to do anything here in Akron, y'all see me trying to do. If nobody comes for these two right here, is like what, you know. I don't know what to call it. It's no name for it, but they are there if nothing else is there. I don't talk about anybody else, but I'm saying they like, yeah, what? Okay, I know they be like, no. And here comes that Facebook, you know, that little conversation face that comes on when you try to, in the messenger, and it pops up, ding. It's like, hey, what you guys doing? No, I want something. Yeah, so they are amazing. They are amazing for that. Okay, so, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, we're talking about love. Again, I want to hash in on it. And like I said, it started in an honest, authentic way. I feel for myself, again, I say it started from God. It was so true and so free. We all were born with it. But then it became deteriorated. So I'm trying to find out now what happened to it. Why are we scared to say it? And then it has different meanings in a lot of different situations. And then it turns on and off too. So it's when we're married, we say I love you. When we divorce, we don't love that person no more. You know what I'm saying? When we are when we're in a funeral, when you're in hospital with somebody, when they get sick, now all of a sudden everybody pop up and say I love you, and then all of a sudden it just disappears and goes away. You know, what happened to love? If y'all can kind of cash onto that, and anybody can actually, what do you think happened to love?
I think that. English language, the word love is used for everything. It's like, I love my phone, I love my food, I love my spouse. Whereas in other languages, they have different words for love. So it's like, some people, you might go into a romantic love and eros love for someone, but that can fade away. Whereas if you have like a kindred love, like, you know, we grew up together, we always want to have each other's back, that's a different type of love than like a love for romance. Because romance, when the romance goes away, if you don't work on it, the love's not going to.
So it's not real love in relationships.
It is love, but it's a different type of love.
Wow. Oh, that's more lust. I would say that was. Would you say that was more lust than love?
No, because I don't love Tammy. Well, I don't love Tammy the same way I love my mother. Right. I love her a different way than I love my mother, but it's still love. Mm-hmm. Okay, but at the same time, we never stop loving our moms, yet people somehow stop loving other people. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, some people stop
romantic love,
right,
but unless you have a heavier thing to add to that,
right.
A lot of times the romance will fade away, right. And you gotta have something more committed. You gotta have agape love, where
what's agape love?
That's where you love the person in the fact that you want their best, no matter what.
So when the relationship ends, you don't want their best. You just like whatever.
Right.
With eros love.
Because you don't have, with eros love.
It's more shallow.
Yeah. but it's still a type of love.
Okay, okay, because when I'm, like I said, I'm so passionate about the word love, and it's turned on and turned off. So, which makes me like still hesitant. Like, this is a temporary love when I'm saying I do, and I'm married. It's just for the season that we, as long as we're together.
But that's the thing, that when you said it, you took a vow. You said till death do us part.
But what if a divorce happened?
Then
When you broke the vow,
you broke your vow.
you broke the covenant.
Right.
That's
So-
why it's like a ripping. That's why it's like a
No, it's
ripping
not.
and a grieving.
It's not gone.
It's not gone, right.
After you divorce, it's not gone. It's just staggered love. Like like you just can't believe kind of love. But you can't just turn. Just like you're married and then all of a sudden you get a divorce or something of that nature. It don't just say, okay, I'm done loving them. You cannot be done loving somebody. No matter what somebody does to you, you still love them. If you loved them, if you really loved them.
Well,
You can't-
you're bonded at that
Yeah.
point, so the bond is just not going to fade away.
Right.
But certainly, if the love is torn or the covenant is torn, then you have injury.
Yeah.
And so that tends to make it harder to love that person the way you once did.
Right.
So
I would
trust,
more like a
so
bond.
trust kind of
It would be
knits
like a
down,
scorn.
it kind of tears down love to different levels. It kind of, okay, so trust is pretty much what affected love. Am I right?
Thereof. The lack thereof. Yeah, you gotta have trust
And that establishes the love.
Exactly.
to keep the bond.
And it's hard to have trust when everything's up in the air. So we decided early in our marriage that divorce is not an option. We're not even gonna put that on the table. That went there. When I'm messing up, she's not gonna say, you know what, I'm thinking about leaving. And when she's messing up, I'm not gonna say, you know what, I'm thinking about leaving. That's just off the table. It's like, we're not gonna go there. So now we have an issue, let's work through it. So now we work on the issue rather than threatening each
Do
other.
you guys have meetings, or how did y'all? How did y'all establish that communication, that agreement to come and say, okay, to get an understanding, like, was it a meeting that was taking place, like I talked about the interview part of the relationship, the beginning, was that negotiated, like how we're gonna handle this journey?
No, it was after we were married.
Yeah, we had to go through some, I guess, marriage training. We've gone through many marriage classes, gone through different books where older couples have written. They talk about the pitfalls of love, and that's one of them. If you put divorce on the table, then you're more likely to run to that as an out rather than to work on your relationship.
So if you just take it off the table.
In learning that, we decided to commit to that. This has worked for this couple that's been together 45 years. So, let's glean from that and use it as a model.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense.
Terrell, do you think that it's possible to love the same person and after divorce, go back to that same person? Because you said love never dies. Could you go back to that person and love them the same?
No, I couldn't love them the same, but I can't stop loving them. He was a part of me. He was my representative. If I wasn't able to make it, then I send my representative in my place. He was my other half. And just because we weren't mature enough to handle a strong relationship like that, we didn't have any good examples. It failed.
Do you believe in counseling? Did you guys exercise counseling?
When we went to counseling, it was too late at that time.
Mm-hmm.
We had already beat each other up so bad that it was like, but I would have took him back. I'm telling you, I would have took him back. But, when you make a man swallow a pill that he make you swallow, he don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he didn't like it. And so, it was hard for him, but I was like, let's work on it now. You know what I'm saying? Fair game, no robbery. Let's work on it. But it didn't go down like that. No, at that point, it's not fair game, no robbery. It's I did it, you take it, you do it, I can't take it. A man and me can't allow me to accept that you've done such a thing. And I said, well, you know, let's go to counseling. He was like, we'll go, you know, but he went, he didn't say a word. But the thing is that had we had someone else, or if we had enough maturity in our relationship and in our marriage, we could have moved past that. Because it wasn't, we had some tools. Yes, we didn't have any tools, but even at our divorce, we showed up at our divorce wearing the same outfit. He had on, it was crazy. He had on brown shoes, tan pants, off-white wool sweater, and a blue pea coat. I come up there with brown shoes, corduroy tan pants, and a white, you know, a cotton shirt, and my blue pea coat. They was like, y'all sure y'all want a divorce? I want to say something.
Connected.
Yes.
Not as far as with cheating. With cheating. Is anybody else there with cheating? Okay.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
It's not worth it on what?
It's just not worth it.
Are you a cheater? Or you been cheated on?
Don't label her.
No, I'm not a cheater. But sometimes when you don't, like I said, the maturity, when you're not getting what you need in your relationship,
Right.
and you know, you're just not strong enough to come to him and tell him, listen, I'm hurting, or he don't want to hear it, or you just don't want that rejection. But it's easier to go to somebody else and tell him, hey,
why don't you go to somebody else? Why don't you?
If that's what that cheating is, and it ain't worth it, because listen, this guy outside my relationship can't help me with my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He can't.
Mm-hmm.
But we quick to say this.
Okay.
The guy, you know, this person right here, the only reason why this other person is here is because I got a problem with him.
Right. I'm interested in hearing your perspective today on cheating. How do you feel about cheating?
I'm sorry.
How do you feel? No, I just want to hear everybody like their thoughts on cheating. Like, how do you feel about that? And then also, I have a second question to that.
Okay. First off, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And allow me to represent all single men in the world.
It's on you, bro.
No pressure.
I used to be single.
Right. Well, this is my job right now. I don't want to show this. I also told me to say this too. Happy birthday, Seth.
Thank you.
Yes, happy birthday. You look fabulous too.
Yes.
Right. Cheating. Honestly, I'm pretty sure you understand. She was going with it. Yeah. But cheating is a choice. It's simply a choice that people make.
Right.
Now, whatever reason, whether it be an unhappy home, greed, lust, it's still a choice. If your mate is out cheating on you, doing his thing, she's doing her thing, somebody had to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why did they make that choice on you? Why did they choose to go outside of me to look for her and to look for him? Now, if you know the answer to that, and you can't get it from them, you kind of hit.
Yeah.
Because if your spouse or significant other is not communicating that with you, you know, what can you do? Now, I'm saying this not from a, as you say, from a scholar point of view. I'm saying this as really, I did my thing for about 15, 20 years. That's all I did. I didn't really have a committed bone in my body, literally. And immaturity, fear, a lot of things going on with me at that time to where I just wasn't ready. And I also wasn't mature enough to tell her that I wasn't ready. You know, it took me 35 years of my life to go, wait a minute, I'm gonna go legit now. And I say legit because I felt during that time from 18 to 35, I was committing a crime over and over and over again. So I'm saying this for those of you that are in the audience that are cheating. Ask yourself why. I mean, that's why did you make that choice? So that's, you agree? Okay. You?
So I heard something that was very interesting. I just heard it either this morning, I think. And it was a psychologist who was talking to someone who called in and said that their spouse cheated on them. He said, I've been doing this for 35 years. And I'm going to say it like this. And typically when someone cheats, he said it's, I could say 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, but he's like, honestly, this happens every time I counsel someone who's cheated. He was like, they have needs that they can't express to their spouse. So they get depressed. When they get depressed, they meet someone who makes them happy.
Right.
And they confuse that happiness with that person accepting them.
Right.
So then they go off with the person because they know that, even though they know that eventually they won't have to get rid of this person, right now they feel happy.
Right.
They were like, so it goes back to like you said, to be able to express yourself. So if you don't know why your spouse is cheating, it's more than likely because they have needs that they can't express to you.
Right.
And therefore they can't tell you why they're cheating because they can't express their needs to you.
I can say this though, again, we're talking about when a man finds a wife, the wife guy, you guys read it. Well, no, inside of this book, I mean, it kind of will help with resolve a lot of those issues when you're talking about people, they're getting their needs met and whatnot. It can be the simple fact that you don't give a person space. I talk about that. A lot of the things that I'm saying, give him this, it'll feed him, give him power, energy, and want to give that back into you. But when you pull it from him, even like feeling needy. One of the chapters, I'm not telling you the book, just the chapters, obviously that's in the content you'll see. Listening beyond words. I like to, I want to hash on that a little bit, listening beyond words, because that was one of my weaknesses, not learning how to listen. I was listening as I'm saying, I'm just listening to James talk. And I'm like, yeah, okay, listen. But really not in tuning myself, because I feel that's a part of love. When you channel yourself, and I can know if he's mad or where he's going. I know my sister. I know when don't bother her today. You know what I'm saying? I know to keep my mouth shut and keep it going. But when you care about somebody's love, you start reading like, oh, you're tired, you're hungry, whatever. So this is like, when you start feeding into that person to know, look out what they need in that way, and don't listen to what they say. They might say, okay, what you need, I'll help you. But if you see it like, they're scared. They don't want to talk and they don't be bothered. So, close it, shut the conversation down, back up. But learn to use your 5 senses to learn to get beyond your ears. Use your hands. And that'll even tell you if the relationship is good or bad, if he's there or not. If you don't see this man, use them eyes. Listen with them eyes. He ain't never there. You know what I'm saying? He's telling you something. He's communicating. Or she's telling you something. If you can't touch him, if you can't hear him, whatever, then that you don't have to wait for somebody to tell you, I don't want to be with you. Or there's a problem.
But on the other hand,
Yes,
a lot of men
Yes.
aren't in touch with their feelings like that. So in other words, it's
But
like
we are.
Yeah,
So
women
that's
are,
what
but men aren't.
I'm
So
talking from a woman's voice to women.
Right.
To learn to listen to y'all.
yeah,
Y'all won't communicate.
but a lot of times, women will do that. Like early on in our marriage, she would, or even now, she'll be like, what are you thinking about? She's trying to figure out what I'm thinking, but really. It's like I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm like or something that happened yesterday hurt me, right? But it's still affecting me today. But I don't put the two together.
But you're giving this because we do this psychology. We this psychic
Right.
thing. We trying to figure this confusing.
And meanwhile, men are like, I know where there's really no black people in the Flintstones. I'm trying to think. No, that's what we're thinking about. You guys like, what do you deep thought about? It's like. Nothing. We say, but there may not be because we're not in touch with it, right? So it's like we're not in touch with the fact that my boss yesterday made a comment to me that bothered me because when I'm in that room, it's just like we're built so that when the bear jumps out of the woods, bang, he's dead. We don't care that it's a mother bear, that it has cubs, that it has. Women think of all that stuff.
Right.
We don't. It's like, bang, the bear's dead now. Let's move on to the next thing.
Right, and see, I agree totally what you're saying within yourself. Okay, nothing, you tell
Right.
your truth, nothing's really going on.
Right.
But if I'm trying to,
No, what I'm saying is,
Yes.
so there may be something going on, but I'm not thinking about that right now. I mean,
You're
look,
not making the
I'm not making that connection.
right, you
So
probably
what
aren't.
really caused that?
Right.
You probably aren't, but if we are looking for something, we looking for a need to be met, and you're not making a connection, and we're looking for a need to be met, maybe
You
a
gotta
conversation.
say it.
Well, we probably can't say, but I'm saying, if something is absent, if we're in question about something, yeah, that's what you say, definitely ask, we
You
can
have to
definitely
say
ask.
it, because if you don't, it's like, oh, everything's great. Like for years, she would say,
Yes,
you know, because all my uncles,
Right.
my father, all alcoholics, right? So it's like they would go and they would come home at 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk as all get out,
Uh-huh.
go to work the next day, same thing happened the next day. So me, I come home every night.
Right.
So I'm home.
you,
I'm
she
playing,
see you.
I'm playing my video
She see
games,
you.
I'm on the computer,
She's good
I'm
to see
reading books.
She's secure.
No, because she wants me to be like this.
Well, I
Right.
want to talk with
She wants, right, or she wants to talk to me. But me, my thing was, I'm here every night. Every night I'm at home, right? So what? I'm not paying any attention to you. That doesn't click in my head.
My love language is quality
Yeah, I was
time.
going to get into love language.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
love
So
language,
we can't
because
just do
sometimes
that
love-
and me be ready.
Right.
love-
Exactly.
Have you guys heard of the book called Five Love Languages?
Yeah.
Have y'all heard of that particular book? You haven't? Check it out. He's saying, again, talking about relationships, how to get along. But as I was talking about channeling it into people to understand what their needs are, what they're speaking, what love, because when we talk about love really has no definition. You can say love for you is this computer, being on, line, or whatever the case may be, that's love. But now, not being superficial, taking it to a relationship, you have a need, like she said, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation,
That's mine.
what did I say? What is it?
Gifts.
Gifts, acts of service. So,
Acts of service.
again, you might go into a relationship. Every woman doesn't like flowers and gifts, and you can't like not be home and just come home and bring flowers. No, I need you to be here. I need to see you. We're speaking love, and you will see where a person's like griping. That's a sign that like something is lacking. Then that's the question. I'm like, girl, it works for you guys, but sometimes I've seen relationships break up because you assume what you want from me. I'm here every day, but she ain't saying.
So, well, no, it wasn't working for us. She was upset. And so,
What? I'm sorry. Everybody can get a autograph on
So I
social
saw
media.
We had counseling for that before.
because I came home and did that. I'm like, I'm here. So what we found was, first, when I came home, I'm like, well, because I didn't have a high stress job, so I'm spun up, and I don't want to be bothered. So I come home, she gave me 30 minutes, I got on my computer, did whatever I had to do, then I turned around, and I got off the computer, and I went over and talked to her for 30 minutes. That way there, we could do what we need to do.
What were you gonna say, James?
Well, first I'm gonna say, Jeff, I'm gonna pray with your family. You want to take it. And I want to say, you said something earlier about listening. Does anyone know what the opposite of listening is? Talking? Everybody say talking?
Not hearing.
The opposite of listening is waiting.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Where did that?
Waiting. That is the opposite of listening. So if someone's talking to you, and you're not waiting till they're done, you're not waiting to process what they're saying, you just basically just got your gun cocked, ready to talk, ready to fire back. There's no conversation. I'm often in conversation with women, and they're talking, I'm just sitting there. And they're like freaking out, you're not going off, you're not, I'm just waiting. You don't love me. I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I got the clock on. I wait till you're done so I can address all the things that you were saying. And speaking for all men, women don't do that. Women you don't wait.
Well, we have more words to share.
But that goes, go ahead, Karen.
No, go ahead.
I want to say that goes all the way back to kindergarten. Right? They went into kindergarten classes, and they found that girls spoke 4 times more than boys. And 50% of the time when boys did speak, it was sound effects.
Right.
So it's like, right. So it's but however, boys, want to get up and they want to move around, they want to do things. So they're kind of, so in school we're kind of taught to sit down and be quiet, do this and that, and then we don't learn to function and to express ourselves properly.
Right.
Because we're not given that opportunity from the time we're young.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because, like, you know, especially as black boys, it's like, sit down, shut up. Meanwhile, you go to the store and you see other kids running around the store, jumping, going through the thing, and their parents like, you be careful. It's like, sit down, shut up. You know, so it's like, but they get a chance to express themselves and they get a chance,
Right. That's true.
you know, so.
But it's kind of hard though sometimes when you're trying to talk to somebody, you know, I'm the talker in the relationship. I talk. That's my new friend. And me, I'm like, it's like, you're always talking. You'll never, and I stop talking, and then you don't have nothing to say, and I'm like, well, what you stopping for talking for? Now I'm saying this. I mean, we try to keep, well, we don't wait long enough.
That's just illegal. That's why. I'm sorry.
But yeah.
That's so funny
working on
because
it,
again, I don't know which chapter I do talk about that as far as us learning to listen, and then to when men, if you just see the stare in your face, you'll find that that's when you know, okay, maybe this is going on. Wrap it up, because again, he's not there. I don't.
Some men are just not talkers, so you might have to use like conversation starters.
Okay,
They have little books, and it will like give you different topics, and then while he's talking, you listen, you know, and just read between the lines and listen to him, because he barely talks.
I think I agree with you. I think I put some pointers in and agree with you, because I'm always about I'm trying to make things come together, trying to have some understanding, and I don't just go with you know, I have the alpha man and I talk about the beta man, you know, as far as these people being more aggressive and whatnot, the passive aggressive type of man. So he may not be the to take charge, but still respecting him, of course, you know, as a man, even if he's not talkative and running over or whatever the case
Yeah,
may
that's
be.
why I say you have to practice listening.
Another thing is too,
jump into the silence.
that I learned with having a boy and a girl as kids. Men talk when they do stuff. So like, if you, you know, when I was 14 years old, I put my first transmission in by myself in a car, right? So I go down to Clyde's shop, and we would talk all day long while we were working on cars. But afterwards, when we sit down, we like ordered food or something, nobody talk. We sat around with each other, ain't nobody talk. But we pick up a wrench, we start talking. Hey man, what do you think about such and such? You know, because, you know, with me, and like with my son, I noticed that if I had him, hey, come out here, help me with the car, then we talk.
Right.
But if we're just sitting around at the dinner table, we don't talk that much.
Well, we do. We're out.
Yeah, women are, right.
That's our spot.
So if you want to talk to your, if you want to talk to your man, then do something with him. Like when we go fishing, we talk a lot.
Well, I think that's a part of like finding out your love language.
Right.
Because again, once we tie into you, we're looking at you as our friend. You turn into one of our girlfriends. You know?
No, we're not.
That could be a mistake.
Right.
Or that could be the best friend.
Right.
Come to you as
You gotta have girlfriends.
Yeah, you gotta have your girlfriends, because I'm not your girlfriend.
You can't take it.
Right.
But you got that corrected. I'm sure you thinking like,
Oh yeah.
Right.
So I'm saying you came with
I put a lot of strain on him.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Expectations and burden, and I was disappointed. And I
right,
was
but see, y'all
like,
got that experience, but a lot of times when you get to that dating relationship, you become that in. Like, come on, let's go here, let's do this, and then you start putting
That's where I'm at now. I mean, being in a relationship that I was in, and there was no connection for years.
Right.
We had children,
right.
who are men now. My baby's about to be 20 in 2 days. My youngest one. But when before I got into the relationship with my new beau there, on Facebook, they seen that I took that me time. I had to take that time to myself after what I've been through, and we couldn't talk, and it was crazy. But I stuck it out, tried to hang in there without counseling, and you know, we did try to talk to people and try to do different things, try to make it work, because you know, I wanted it to work,
Right.
but then I had to take that time to be to myself, have my me time. And then when I ended up in a relationship, it started off as friendship, and I mean, he is my best friend. Truly, he is my best friend. I mean, I have female friends that surround me. I can talk to still. I always have friends. I got all kinds of friends, but we can talk about anything, you know. And I'm comfortable with that. And I like to leave it open like that in my situation.
Did you ever find yourself getting too needy on him to be as you when you have him when he by him being do you find yourself falling in love? Wait, do you think that you
Put her in her place a lot, but she's good.
Good.
I was about to say that.
I want to hear your perspective because you have experienced relationship. I want to bring up something very, very personal. It was a conversation we had. It stuck with me over years. One day in the salon, you asked me a question and you said, "Stephanie, how can you be by yourself?" You asked. It was like for a long time. You said you're always in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you asked me, and I said, "How can you be in a relationship?" Because I didn't see how it's possible. And then you seem like you equally give that person the same love each time. And I don't know, I struggle with that. I struggle with, well, I get hiatus, and I will tell you, every book is between a relationship. I got 5 books. You know, but no, as far as like, how do you, it don't even, I don't know what's the problem. Write a book with me. But how is it possible to do that, to quickly love somebody else again instantly how do you detach yourself emotionally for somebody to go in and you shut them off, you're done, and you go to this one and it's like, how is that?
Well, I feel that
Give us an answer to that.
everybody's different, but when I meet someone, I try to go with a clean slate. Try not to take the same baggage from my previous relationship, but at the same time, also take what I've learned from that previous relationship. What worked, what didn't work. So when I meet someone new, I try not to take the same baggage into that relationship. I try to go in with a clean slate because it's not fair for me to hold that man accountable for what some other man did. If you do that, you'll never be happy. Yeah. You'll never find someone. And also, you gotta take a step back, self-examine yourself, look at the woman in the mirror, and find out what you did wrong, and try not to make the same mistakes again, over and over again. I honestly believe that I'm a nice woman, and I deserve to have a nice man. But if you go into it, if you go up to it with this wall, and you never let that wall down, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. If you keep shutting, he constantly throwing it at you, you dodging it like the Matrix. It's not going to happen. And I believe that there's a lid for every pot. Everybody has somebody, but if you keep like Erykah Badu, bag lady, that baggage. So
I just think it takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. As far as being a woman, to detach yourself emotionally and then go back. Like I said, it's my weakness. I confess. I take hiatuses. I love, to build. It takes me a while to build that love back up, and it seems like I'm more productive. Actually, honestly, when I'm, by myself, I'm not giving away so much of myself emotionally. I just see how I'm productive. Maybe again I might fall into the high expectations of putting that expectations on them, being that guy, that friend. Because I don't have a lot of, more so that we click as friends, but I have like all of you guys. But it's like if you're at the event, I'm cool with everybody. But you might see me going a lot of places. With somebody's in my circle that big is him. And it's like, come on, hold the purse, come on, let's go. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but James, you're about to say something.
I'm gonna add this to Sean because her and I both kind of have the same pathway, meaning that, I don't know if you guys were Facebook friends with either one of us, but you notice that we're always doing something.
Yeah.
She had a Cavs game, I'm at a concert. She had the wine tasting, I'm at this. So we're not the single people that's back at home crying.
Right.
You know, so we're, you know, we do our thing, we have a good time. And I say that because you had a good point to your question is how can you give yourself every single time? Well, I started doing that too in my later years, to where every relationship I've been in the last 10 years, I've done that. Ended it, okay, boom. Next one, hey, you know, so it's the same thing. And the reason why I can do that is because I love myself.
Yes.
And when I meet someone, I'm gonna give you 100%. And if it doesn't work out with me and you, then you can't take my 100. Cool, go on to the next one. I'm not gonna go into and give you 30%. And then it don't work out, and I'm thinking, man, I should give you the rest of that 70% I had. Because I'm broken up with them, you know, I'm in relationships where they didn't be giving their all. They figure, we're not married, we're not this. I'm like, well, let's say I marry you. And it turns out the rest that you were keeping from me, not cool with me. So I don't even know you. I don't know what you're bringing to the table. It's almost as if you go from job to job. Let's say, for instance, we've all had multiple jobs. Every job you go to, you're going to start that job off day one going, well, I'm not getting into this job until I like it.
Right.
The job is the job, I'm not getting 100%. No, how can you promote it? How can you learn more about that job? You're sitting back, holding back until you find out what that job is for you.
Right.
Give it your all. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, I'm not going to spend 5 years in a relationship trying to figure her out. She's not going to spend a month trying to figure me out. She's going to know my love and my craziness all within the first 5 days. You know,
Yeah, but we change. What happens when we
Because
change? Where you go?
well, you evolve, but you evolve within time. If you evolve every other week, you need an exorcist. You have an issue. You know, we all change. I'm not just got busted.
Let me say something, piggyback, because you had mentioned it too, like relationships, when I talk about it. So, again, you will know where I'm coming from. I look at relationships, it's like a job. And you said it's a lot of work, it is. And then putting in that extra time after you come home from work. And then two people, you agree with me? Okay, yeah, it's like putting in that work. Again, if you're not going to, you doing the interview stages, like I said, you do all of that, and then seeing if this is a job you want, but it has expectations of you. So I do look at relationships as a job, even when some people get tired, they want to quit, but you still have to put in, and even after the job, so that's what you signed up for. Again, I said the position that you gotta move. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that's where I'm gonna go. But I want to tap into our guests. Our guest plan, because y'all got some thoughts, so it's not just hearing us and getting tired of it. Because y'all have experience with love, relationships. Is there any questions y'all want to hash in on something?
We waiting.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
That you said about how can people just go into a relationship after another. A lot of it is because of loneliness and because we are human. We want to be connected to somebody. So what happens is that you block out that love, that you know that you really love the person, because you can't just turn that off like you were saying, but you can camouflage it. Okay, so camouflaging it by meeting another human being in hopes. It's like playing Russian roulette. It's like, okay, let's hope that this person will accept me for who I am, and I can do the same. But don't get it twisted.
Okay.
You don't even be thinking about the other person's need. You're thinking about your own need at that time. Okay? Because every human being is different.
Yeah.
Every human being has a different need. So when my experience, it was like, well, I'm more mature now. I'm in my 60s, so now I know what I'm looking for, and if it comes, it comes. If it don't, I love myself. I always loved myself. So, you know, I know, Stephanie.
No, because when you hear things, I'm just
Yeah, it comes to you, right.
Keeping it going, because you like hitting on a lot of things. One, I was concerned where you gonna jump in there with that self-love, which he had said, you know, as far as not having so many expectations on them, you know, their love, is this gonna make this work, or some, you know, depending on their love to now I'm in love. But you had said something else that that hit a nerve. I don't know. I'll move forward. I'll come back.
It'll come back to
it'll
you.
come back to me. I jump right in quick. You got any?
Well, I just real quick.
Yeah.
You said something great. What's your name?
My name is Ellen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
The self-love issue, I love that what you said, but if loneliness does play something into it, yeah. But like everyone here, basketball fans, Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving played for the Cavs for 6 years. Loved the Cavs. He's on another team now. He still loves the Cavs, but he's gonna ball for Boston. He's gonna do all he can for that team. So I look at it same SoCal. I mean, I may be with this person and she didn't accept me, she didn't choose me, she didn't necessarily trade me per se. But the fact that I wasn't accepted, you said it right, you said accepted. I didn't feel accepted by her. I didn't feel as if what I was bringing her, she didn't want. She wanted to do with his pants down here, and she wanted, you know, she wants somebody to get out of jail. That's her thing. That's okay. So I moved on to another team, and I'm a ball for them. So accepted it. And I love what you said. That's really what turns me off when I feel as if, you know, she wants something else to do, and I allow her to you know, pursue that.
I was just gonna say, I was just trying to wrap my mind around, you know, well, not really wrap my mind around it, but just thinking about my relationships, you know, that I had been in, and then it was trying to move forward. And I just realized any relationship that I loved so hard, it was really hard for me to move to the next person without giving myself a break. I needed to regroup. I needed to not so much figure out what I want, but I needed to make sure that it was intact. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about how, you know, I went about it, and how, you know, I had tried to go from one relationship to the other, and it felt like I was abusing myself.
Well, you know what? Again, when I talk about power, we're giving power and energy to different people. And when you're in a relationship, like I said, I'm so productive when I'm by myself, because all that I'm channeling into myself. I'm not sharing any of my energy and my power, emotions, or caring about anybody's emotions. So it's all about me. But when you have a relationship, now you have to give some of yourself. You're taken away. And if you're in an unbalanced relationship, that will kind of pull a lot of stuff from you. You can lose who you sell. Like you said, you were given to an empty source. You know, you were giving yourself, you burned out. It'll start aging you. It'll start making you, you know, your change and move. Just take so much from yourself, and you'll find. Then you start learning yourself. When you do let that go, when you find yourself, you let that go, which you recharge. That's a recharging that battery, recharging that self battery. You start like, wait a minute. When you start loving again, wait a minute, hey, this is not what I've been doing. You know, and it's all new. Like, you know, a person that just gave their life to Christ, they be like, what? Like, Jesus. It's like new love. It's just new love. And it's like that relationship when you find with Christ. You know, you start like, understand that everything is like, oh, God do this, God do that. They just found God, Jesus just started doing this all this time. Now he just so, and that's why nobody want to be around. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But then until they get settled, but then that's the recharge. Because now, like again, I only speak for myself. My resource of love came from God for me to understand really what love is, and that's that during that single time. Build me up. So now I look at God as my father. That's the one that's gonna hand me down the aisle and give me away and whatnot. And when he hands me over to this man, I expect him to love me just the way God loves me. I can identify it, and I had to learn what love was for me. You got to get your own definition of what love is to you, because you might, the guy might, you know, not come home or do that. That might not be love for me. You like it. I never get involved in somebody's relationship. I ask you, are you happy? Because that's the key. Are you happy? Are you tired? You already seen the marathon runners. You know some people go longer than the other. If you're on, girl, you're on time. I'm stop right here. Because, you know, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. And I need to recharge. I'm burned out. I'm tired. You got to know when your enough is enough. And that's when you get your recharge. You get to go back in the field again, but you won't do another strategy now. Because you see, I burned out quick in that rap, you know, that game. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go at it a little bit different, but you can't go selfish in the whole way. You gotta be, yes.
But you have to be real with what you're giving to a person too.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm in a relationship and I'm not keeping it 100 with her, and I'm just giving just to keep her happy, just giving whatever she wants, just giving.
Yeah.
Then when I leave, I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna miss this relationship because I can't give that stuff to her, whatever. But if that's who you are,
Yeah.
like with Shanti, when you leave, you're thinking, I'm a good woman. So I can leave this. I'm a good woman leaving this bump and go find me a good man.
And I think because you got self-love and you're
But yeah,
confident,
and I
some
think-
people are not whole. Like I said, she got her, like she's
Right.
got her family, she got her love at home. She's still cool. He didn't make her love it. She came in with it and she was sharing it. So I think it's easier for you, but a lot of us women, you know, we this the emotion, we come with an empty pot. You don't give me some? Can we, you know what I'm saying? How, you know, let's eat some of this love. And then next you know, they take it from me, like I said. And then that's what leaves us. It's hard because we so broken, looking for more food, like, you know, starving, till somebody come in, now they telling us, you so pretty, you love me. Really? You know, start, oh, really? You know what I'm saying? He loved me. Oh, I love him. I love, you know, whatever. Now we smitten. Now we feel love again because we depended and we waited on that person to give it to us instead of us. You know, that's hard.
You gotta have self,
That's
right?
a bad
Outside
So
of
God's
us.
strong with
Right.
we weak. You know what I'm saying? But again, like Eleanor said, I agree, wisdom. When you get older and you know what I'm saying, you keep losing in the game, you're like, okay, enough is enough. And then you start writing books. Like, look, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Right about it. Yes.
I just want to throw out there, a lot of our issues go deeper than just the surface and deeper than we can handle ourselves. So I just want to encourage anybody just that finds themselves running into the same wall or finds themselves going from relationship to relationship to relationship and you don't know exactly what it is about you, because wherever relationship you go in, you're there. You know, you're the common denominator. That, you know, we've had trauma in our past, we've had sexual abuse, molestation, some deep things that go really deep, and I just encourage, you know, anybody going through something really heavy like that to work through it with a counselor. There are different resources. You can pick a friend you trust and work through a book, especially written for that sexual book abuse, and go deep with that friend. Just talking it out. It doesn't have to be a counselor necessarily. Some of them need a trained ear. Some of the issues need a trained ear and a person that's seen that before and the signs of it to work through it with you. But that's why some people will go, they're searching for that something, maybe they didn't get from their dad, their mom, attachment issues, bonding issues, and it's just not something you can work through alone.
I mean, we gonna, in there, because I want to do this quick little love of BS game right quick, and then we gonna close it out. But you saying it again, because I definitely want to continue to emphasize this ebook here that you guys already have, and online audience here, you guys download this book for 99 cents on Amazon.com, author 70 Singleton. But when you were talking about deep-rooted, the childhood, that was like the beginning phases that I understand as far as we talking about love. Love get damaged a lot of times in the earlier stages. These people still just grow up in that situation, and then we're left to deal with it, and not an unknown. Again, we trying to figure out. You know, again, we don't actually know. We trying to figure out. We don't even know. We dealing with somebody who's been molested or who somebody's been beat or bullied in school, and then here it is. We're just getting a reaction, you know, because they can't cry. We're too grown. We gotta be a man. We got a woman, you know. So
and they don't even know their reaction stems from that.
Yeah,
it goes back.
And a lot of times, I'm sure when you go to counseling, you find out. Oh, so what? That's what the problem was. I dated somebody who still is dealing with that dad that did that, or that mom.
Not only that, a lot of times you're stuck in that state. So like, I know a lot of grown men who are adolescents. They're still a 17-year-old high school basketball player because at that time in their life something happened to them, or that was the best time of their life, and they're still stuck in that state, and they still want to do things like have all the freedom in the world with none of the responsibility.
And
That's
going
adolescence.
and all
That's
of
the
that,
teenager.
and then
You know
going
what I'm
into a
saying?
relationship,
Right,
and
with all
somebody I
that,
love 'em,
yep.
and then not, you know.
And
spend
another thing
back
is
on
too,
her.
that sometimes there's signs, you know. It's like, you know, you go to the family reunion and they're like, who? Nene ain't never had a job. Ain't growing up, he's 30 years old, he ain't never had a job. Or she, you know, she got a new boyfriend every 6 months. Who this now? You know, you're like, you
But then
gotta listen to
and
that
also,
stuff.
and then, but yeah, you listen to that, that's the word. What I'm saying, listen beyond words, then you got to think, like I'm saying, you might get a lot of argumentative or closed off, you said communicative or whatever the case, you know the word I'm trying to say. But you get that and you find out it's not a behavior characteristics, it's something deep rooted.
Right.
That, okay, this is.
They're stuck in that spot.
Right, so and then you then got married to this person playing, you know, trying to put the facade on because they read about what love was and really didn't really know.
But they may really, really love you, but they just can't express it.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes, like, you know, she's known for years that growing up, I can't remember a time where my mother hugged me or kissed me or told me I loved you, ever. But I know she loves me. I mean, she never did anything wrong to me. She never abused me. She had 6 kids. She worked 2 jobs. She was always tired. You know, she was making $88 every 2 weeks. Bought a house. You know, I knew she loved me, but she just never did it. And she grew up. My grandfather was a butcher, and he was also the dog warden. People brought their pets to him for him to kill them. So it was like, you know, he didn't say I loved you or anything. He was like, you know, hey, if dog doesn't do what you want to do, kill it. Right, you know, it's like, so, you know, that's how they grew up. But they loved each other. They would do anything for each other. But that's where they came. Yeah. So that's one of the things I decided when I was always going to tell her I loved her every day. And now I go back home to my family. My one sister, she'll tell you, she goes like this. Where y'all going? Y'all ain't give me no hug. She'll stand just like this. You go over and hug her. But she don't put her arms up or anything.
I do one tap your back. I used to do that. I'm grown. It's like a maturity, bro.
Sometimes I go in for her just for knowing her. Like,
she do. Come on,
She like,
yeah, but a lot of that during that time too is when I was going through what I was going through in my relationship. I just was angry with the world. I mean, everybody used to walk up and say, well, I'll be out at the club, and they'd be like, hey, why you looking so mean? I was like, what you mean I'm looking mean? You know, and I'm like, I ain't mean, you know. But it was just so much. I knew what I had to go home to. I was happy to be out, you know, or I'll be sitting, I'll be thinking about going home or what was going on in my life at that time. And yeah, my family, they had to deal with that as well. And I mean, that's what people say now. People's like, goodness, Kate, hey, and I'm like, I greet everybody with a hug and a smile and everything. That's like,
because you know what? That's the power. That's the power
like,
of love. That's the power of love. It's like I was right in there. So it's like the blood that flows through our veins. You know what I'm saying? We can die without it. Actually, people have died without love. Dogs, anybody have died with love, and it can heal people too. It can actually heal people too.
You can't give up on people either.
No.
Because I mean, you know, going back to my grandfather was a butcher. She came out to New Jersey to visit me. Only known me for like 3 days. She comes out to New Jersey to visit me, and I take her down to the shore. On the way back, it's dark, and there's a deer that got hit. Right, so he got hit, and I can see both his front legs are broken. So I jump out the car. She's thinking, oh, he's going to help the deer. I grab the tire iron, hit it, throw it in the trunk. We go back home. I get back in the car, and she's like, we go back home, me and my cousin skin it, cut it up, package it up, and she's like, that looked like he came from Acme. I'm like, yeah, we hunt, you know, that's what we do. Right, so, but the thing was, though, was like, you know, even, you know, it's like, I'm thinking that I'm doing something so great, and she's thinking that you killed an animal, right? So, yeah, so.
I got a gazillion stories.
I know
I do.
Let's hear this quick. What you think about these situations here? Just give me hold up if you feel it's love. Yes, I might point out something there. Men's role is to provide financially for women, for the household. He should be the financial provider.
I'm so used to doing it. Yeah, I'm so used to doing it myself, but I
different way.
I mean, yeah, because he didn't want me to work.
You know what? Because
Oh, is that love? Okay.
yeah, because
I agree. I agree.
love is agreeing. If you think that's some nonsense, then
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna say it's both, honestly and truthfully.
No, if he can.
But here's the thing, no, because the thing is, it's your perspective how you think. Because there are some women thinking like, I ain't working, you should be taking care of everything like that. So if that's what you think, then that's what it is.
I think we gonna grow together if only one supply. You know, we can do this together. I'm still an able-bodied person. I can still work. You can work. We can have more.
The important thing is you come together on it.
Right.
Because if you're not together on that,
Okay.
that's gonna cause serious
I
conflict.
know.
But in some households, a man might think different. I'm just asking opinion.
Right. I think it's the man's job. I think it's the man's job to provide for the family. Now that may be, hey, you need to get a job because I can't make it. We trying to make ends meet now. We got one in, right? But it's ultimately, I think it's his decision to say that, and I think it would cause. Men's egos are so fragile. Like when you're talking about men can't take what they get, you absolutely right. Because on the outside we just hard, but on the inside we like, you know, when a man gets sick, he's sitting in the bed, he's like, you come over and bring me something.
It's
a problem when he's dishing it out.
Right.
Because we got to should women be submissive?
I would say.
Yeah, but the way most people think about
I say yes.
Yeah, but not the way most people submissive but not subservient.
Right.
They're equals,
Right.
but there's a hierarchy of leadership I think was meant for the family. That's my perspective, from biblical perspective. But he's supposed to be loving you,
Right.
and not turning to the Bible.
Right.
As Christ loved the church, so you'll be trusting that you'll have what you need.
Because if I love her the way Christ loves the church, then she knows that I'm going to make the decisions. I'm going to make the correct decision.
Right.
Because I'm looking out for her.
For me, yeah.
Right.
So if
I'm
I have a better
looking out for her and my
suggestion, then he'll be willing to take it.
But also women have to respect
So
their
y'all equally, y'all.
but women have to respect their husbands, because when you don't respect your husband, then he ain't gonna love you like he's supposed to.
When you put a BS and you held it, like, what was that mean?
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
When you held it up with conviction.
Yeah.
For me, the perfect relationship is give and take, as you said earlier. So I want to be able to lead, also want to be able to follow. And I can't follow you from the back.
You don't need to be
What
in
do you mean?
control.
I don't need to be, I mean, if you alpha, I can be alpha too. You know, women I've dealt with that were alpha women, you didn't mention that earlier, that should be in your book too. But that are alpha women that, you know, need their, I give it to them. That's cool. As long as they respect me for that. Don't think I'm a pushover because I'm not laying down.
Right.
You know, but if you need your fire, you need to give me directions everywhere we go, that's cool. Even though I know where it's at, you can do that because that's what you need.
Well, you gotta choose your battles.
Well, exactly. Choose your best.
That's the thing. You gotta choose your battles. So like, there's some things where when she says I'm gonna do this, I'm like, go ahead. You know, you can take the lead on that. But that's all. I don't know if you got this time of year you see the geese flying, right? And they're always in that V. They're following. Well, whenever another goose is ready to take the lead, he just flies out, and the former leader just gets behind him, and everybody forms the V again. It's always about somebody's going to step up and lead, and when they do, let them lead.
Right.
But the thing is, though, at the end of the day, it's like if we go about it, and I say it should be A, and she says it should be B, we pray about it, and then if I still feel it should be A, it's going to be A.
Right.
But I'm always going to make sure that it's A because of it's better for the family.
The welfare of the
It's
family.
better for the welfare of the family.
And I can accept that because I'm ultimately trusting the Lord to lead him right. So I ask him, husband. Yes.
All of that. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I'm getting mixed up in words, but I asked him, did you seek the Lord on it? Did you pray about it? And then I feel safe. If he says yes, then I feel safe.
But sometimes I say, no, I didn't.
And I'll be like,
They said that, well, we didn't pray about it.
That's good. good. I love the way that y'all learn to communicate. Cause like you said, it didn't start off that way, but again,
It's
y'all
a
found a way.
process.
Yeah, y'all found a way, and that's good to see. I mean, good to share that with other people who are potentially. I'm fine. You guys want some water? I didn't even. I was supposed to have water on your table. I didn't do that.
It's okay.
But you guys give an insight. So what I want to do as we start to slowly wrap this thing up, how do you guys feel about so far what you're hearing? Yeah, it's like I said, some of it is common sense, and I know you have your insights, and again, it's about what works for you. But then yet there are some people who are struggling, and then too, right here, people, when you're talking about being single and like it's amazing, and it could be like this, you got you know.
Well, no, it's not the coolest thing.
No.
But if I'm gonna live it, I'm gonna live it.
Right. Exactly. I ain't gonna sit at home. He gonna come knock on my door.
Right.
Shine there.
Like I said, me going around saying that, you know, I'm legally single, that means I have no paperwork, but I have been, you know, in marital affairs. However, what I mean by that, I call myself stop it. You got something to say?
Yeah, you haven't said anything yet, right.
I'm surprised over here.
Right.
Nobody says you come here on, then you shut down on me when we started. I was waiting for
I'm
you to
from
come.
a total different perspective.
Okay, which perspective do you have?
I don't have that much time.
Okay.
You wanna sit down here?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I don't have that much time.
Okay.
For one thing, the whole thing of men think like this, women think like that, it's not even me. I don't need to have tools to talk. I can talk at the table.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk with tools. I can talk walking down the street during sex. Whenever. It's a choice. Like you said, it's a choice that you make. And a lot of stuff that we deal with is stuff that's taught. Somebody think it's this and they just pass it on to the next, pass it on to the next. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of times like, okay, you associate with me and my aunt and Bear Street, and you know how you guys say there's childhood things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of my childhood problems, I say 757 Bear Street.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that went on through there, and it took me years to figure out that's where a lot of my problems stem from as well. When you guys talked about love, I don't use the word love as much as you guys would. Sometimes when you guys are saying love, I would say attraction. Yeah, that's one big thing you guys mentioned, love a lot, like attraction, physical contact. I try to specify stuff like you mentioned earlier, Jeff, as far as in America, we use the word love like the cartoon Smurf. You know, when Smurf you drink of water, I'm a Smurf for walk. You know, we use the word love in general, and I had actually define it for myself. And for me, it's going to be giving for the benefit and development of another with no strings attached. So for me, I love my mother like that, my daughter, any friend, any spouse, you know, people I'll die for. They all fit in that category. But like for my girlfriend or wife, I'm going to show affection. I'll have a sexual attraction towards them. You know, my mother, daughter, I'm not. You know, and it's partially because it's partially what we're taught, but it's like you mentioned before, needs. There's different needs. For my daughter, she needs more from me, and I need to instill more. Mm-hmm. My parents, I needed more for them, and they need to instill more in me. And then spousal thing is like a give and take, like you mentioned. But the one thing I hear a lot of is men do this, women do that. Should the guy be the provider? When you come together with whoever you're with, who's making the most? You know, stuff like that. You know, like you said, you got to come together and make that decision instead of picking something that we picked from old days back when women couldn't work, and said, yeah, men had to be the providers because women were not allowed to work.
Well, you know what, Brian, let me jump in real quick, too, so it's clear what I'm saying. I'm not giving false information. And a lot of it, you know, it's similar, we agree to what you are saying. Again, we have two different types of genders with two different organs. It has two, you know, chromosomes and extra, all this, you know, we move differently, act differently. It's trying, the premise of where I'm going is trying to understand this other, when we talk about relationships. So if it's just intimate relationship, friendship, relationship with my mom, my sister. It's all these relationships of trying to learn how to get along. But we were raised in the same household, totally different. You know what I'm saying? But I still had to learn how to understand her in our household, and then when we are separate, when I go to her house, she has a different way that she runs things. And this is what we try. I got a husband and a wife coming together, a boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like I'm trying to find out what happened in your background, how you think, and then when I ask that question about the provider, some people have that mentality, whatever they and here we are in the meeting room of a relationship trying to understand, that's how you think. Like, if I'm attracted to James, he had hold it up, BS. Like that, James. You know what I'm saying? Tell me more. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, because he has this way of thinking, and we're, like you said, a job. We're trying to get to know each other. So not really putting so much rules, but where they come from, and why do you think the way you think, and how do you love, and what is love to you, and can our love match each other and whatnot? So I'm trying to understand.
And I get that.
Yes.
Because that's why you're wording questions like that, to see what their answers are.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Your goal is to get them to expose themselves so they can tell how they see the world. That's all. That's what you're doing. You're being an administrator. I got that. Yeah.
That's and so I'm not really pushing so much like it. I mean, that's my.
You didn't push anything.
Well, I don't want it to be.
You put questions out there.
Yeah, and I don't want it to seem as though
stating
that's the way that I think, and it can still. It's only a few of us, and it's a billion of people in the world, and we're trying to learn how to operate in this world with them. Yes.
Here's the one thing. You may go through this, but does anyone here has any questions at all?
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Nicole, you got a question? It's like you got a question.
You know she ain't gonna say a word.
You got experience. You be letting us have it on that Facebook.
That's entertainment purposes. I love my Facebook on my life. That's entertaining.
What's your name?
Oh, hello. My name is Camille. So, from the viewpoint of an almost 20-year-old, it seems like what he said, times are changing, and what you guys consider love and what my generation may consider love is a little bit different. And, because your generation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was more so like, you don't have to go to college to make a decent living. You don't have to do all these things to be successful. But in this generation of my time, going to college, trying to do something different does, you need that successfulness. So if that man doesn't have a good job or whatever, that's making that woman the sole provider. So is that not love, according to what you guys said? Because if I go to college and I'm
So if you go to college and you marry somebody who didn't go to college, should you not marry them?
No, I'm saying if they're not the main provider. Because that's what I got from.
So when I met her, she was graduating from college. I've never been to college. But I've always been the main provider of the family. Because I chose to go out and better myself and do things and learn skills so that I could be the main provider of the family. But at the same time, I think that's what she wanted because she homeschooled her kids. So it's kind of like if, going back to the whole thing about money, your generation is stuck on money. You guys want a $400,000 home by the time you're 25. Okay, I can't speak for the whole generation, but I can speak for my son, who was 27, and thinks that you should be making a lot of money by the time you're 27, and then when they don't, they get frustrated. So because that's not how the world really works. But that being said, yes, you can go out and get a college degree and be the sole provider of the family, as long as you can still respect the guy that's sitting home watching football while you're out making money. As long as you can still respect him when you come home and he has his friends over and they're drinking beer and watching football. Just like if he came home and you were there with your girlfriends doing whatever you do, it doesn't matter what you do. So long as you can still respect him for that, then yeah, sure.
Well, he doesn't have to be at home doing that. He can be doing the house.
He can be doing whatever. He can be home. So you come home, the house is clean, so you don't have any kids yet, and he's there with his boys playing video games. That's what guys do. That's what we do.
Sean, let me say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
To answer your question, that's not love. Love is things that money can't buy.
You want trustworthy. You want honesty. You want commitment. Those are the things you want.
I have to agree to disagree. No.
No, because her question was,
Right.
is college, right? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
College.
Success.
Right, she
From
said,
our
is,
circumstances.
she said, is that love?
Right. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Again, whatever you say love is, I agree with it, and that's the individual. And again, it's about self-love, what you find love is for yourself. Because I have to go around the room and different people say what love is for them, but as I heard the question, I was thinking when you were asking, is that love, or even what we were saying, it don't even really matter. It's like what you want. Again, I was talking about that interview process, and you finding out what his expectations is, or what he's giving out, and you see if he got a problem with it, and this is what you got to own yourself, or he'll take away and chip down on you to make you less than the woman to equal out to him, and then you're not loving yourself, because if you feel that you should have more and you're doing more, men will do that to you, just so that they can feel. Some men, and then you will see me use that word repetitively, and some, me, and most. I do apologize for saying putting men all in one category.
But I will say this, I've told my son and my daughter both, marry up. You want somebody more driven than you, more spiritually connected with the Lord than you, more that wants something, then not hang out. You want to marry up. You want to marry somebody who has goals and wants to be driven.
So what about that person that you marry up with now? What, now they're marrying down? Since
No.
they're marrying up, then is that person marrying down?
He has to want it, though. I feel.
I don't know. I don't use those terms.
Yes,
I don't use that. But I want to address what Camille said and what you said, because Jeff, although he's not had a college degree, his field by definition is gonna make more. But let me say it this way: if you were a computer, what are you? IT worker. They, make more. They just will make more. But if your husband is a counselor like I am, or if he's a teacher and he doesn't make as much, but he's passionate about what he's going after and he's driven for what he's going after, it just might wind up that way. And just like what Jeff said, you have to respect him for what he does, and he has to respect you for what you do.
Tamara is shaking over there and look like you thinking you want to let me have it. Go ahead.
I just really think the whole scenario about the man or the woman making more money. We talked about this potluck thing, and it's not about, I'm sure you're not gonna marry some man because he got X amount of dollars, and you're not gonna, this and that and the other. I hope that wouldn't be the reason why you would marry him, because he had X amount of dollars. We talking about love. So when we talking about love, if he love you and you love him, y'all gonna make it. It's gonna work. Y'all gonna work through it. It's gonna come together. It ain't about how much money you got. Although you don't, you want somebody who got some goals. You want because like I said, he's gonna be your representative. So just in case you may not be able to make it, you want to send your representative, and he gotta be a good representative of you.
Okay, let me interrupt, because we heard from a lot of our men, except over here in the corner here.
I told you don't talk. Go ahead.
He had something really, he heard some things that, he chimed in some of the things that you probably, it pissed the nerve, or you probably want to come.
Well, a lot of it, I like to open up with the agape love. That's the greatest love of all in the Bible. Then you went to cheating. And, I've been married twice. I've been cheated on twice. I've been divorced. And I've been through counseling. But my main thing is communication. Communication was my problem. I couldn't communicate at all. But now, over the years, I've learned that, And what is happiness? Happiness is love. Being happy, doing what you want to do. Having that partner that agrees with you,
That love to communicate.
Right.
So, okay.
Communication key.
Yeah, I just know, and I do definitely agree. Again, like, so you don't have to assume anything. You're able to be comfortable enough to talk to that person. I think that's the best relationship with any situation that you
I've been
can
through
go.
counseling and I'm counseled out, you know.
Yeah.
Communication is what's got me along.
That, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the counselors do, is trying to get that voice out that you've been suppressing. They just,
Yeah, they don't give advice, they don't like tell you what
No.
to do, but by talking it through with somebody, because a lot of people, like you said, don't know how to talk it through.
That's what I think.
But then going
And
back
by
to being
being
single, because I had to find
trained,
myself
they
too.
see
You know, I had to
different
sit and be single. and
Right.
I didn't jump in relationship to relationship. I had to sit back
Right.
and find out who I am.
At the end of the day, we keep going back into that, and everybody have been, everything we have, what we have in common in this room, we all have been single, regardless if you've been married, divorced, or whatever the case may be. We all have been single, but a lot of times, a lot of people struggle with being single. I wasn't getting back to that. Wasn't celebrating, applauding single again. I'm saying I'm the single oldest. It's been single longer than a lot of people here been married in any relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'm still single. You know what I'm saying? But of course, I'm an expert at being single. If you have a problem with it, come to me. I'll tell you how to do it. I'll make your life thing like a whole. But what I'm saying, you'll be happily in love. But I had to actually better myself when I found that was my circumstance. My first book, again, y'all seen, probably it was on my Facebook, was Singleology 101. That came about when I was 40. I'm like, God, is his name a curse? Is something wrong? You know, what happened? You know, I knew I was depressed, but I didn't know, I couldn't figure out what was my problem. But then again, something hit me, like God just spoke to me. You know what, to think about it, it hasn't been that bad because it's some perks. I talked to people who are married, who actually wanted some of my perks being single. You know what I'm saying? So I learned in that book, I talk about there's 5 types of single people. There was married, there was trapped, I call them trapped. There was the married, there was trapped. There's divorced singles, there's widow singles, there's singles who emotionally unavailable singles, they just get in relationships, and then there is people who choice, single by choice, you know. And then with that being said, I said, well, since I'm this pure single person, those people who struggle with it, like coming out of love and coming back, it's hard for a lot of people. When you, not just because it's a bad situation, some people have lost some people that they were actually together with for so many years, and then to come back into a foreign world of being single and it's looked upon as bad. I go to a lot of events by myself, you guys probably, whoever is single, and people think something wrong with you, and you know, this is a problem. Hey, it is, you know, they have all these questions, and it's a problem. And when I go out, like today is my birthday, and I want to use this, you know, again, I'm all about my. When I learned what birthdays was, and that keyword my and happy, I own those words. I believe it should be about me, I should be happy, own that happiness, and don't give it, because I have celebrated my birthday with a lot of people, and they have taken my happiness away. And then I went and tried to make them happy on my birthday. You want to eat, ready to go? Come on, you want to? I don't do that on my birthday. It's like I know one thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get in my picture? Oh, God. You know? And when I told you, when I wrote that book, it wasn't, when the revelation came, like, wait a minute, I got something that people want and that people need. You understand? Like, this ain't a bad thing if you dealt with that situation. I'm not promoting being by yourself, but letting you know if that's your circumstances, if you're placed upon in, then it's like you can make that the best thing ever when you have married people jealous of you. You know what I'm saying? She out again. She traveling all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Why she do that? You know what I'm saying? Living her life to the fullest. She that raised her daughter, you know, Karen, everybody going to raise your kids and doing things that people are free to not have to be attached enough. If that's your circumstances until love comes, because one thing is happiness attracts people. And if you ever find yourself, get yourself together, and somebody, oh God, like I said earlier, like, oh, because they attracted that happiness. You probably talk about Beyonce and all that, but they can see, like, she got this energy about her. This is something that I just want to be a friend, or I want to get with her. And next thing you know, now you got to share your happiness. So again, I want to just definitely make sure, again, when we walk away from the room, that we understand that this is about self-love, that relationship first before we go into the other relationship, giving yourself, all yourself to, or trying to get anything you want for somebody. I didn't go, we talked a little bit about the BS decoder when I was seeing what was BS to you and identifying it. that book goes a little bit more when you guys download that. It's just strategy tips. You guys some already know it, but like, oh, I never looked at it like that. You know, and I call them I don't cuss, but y'all know a bullshitter. Those people, mind manipulators, they're trying to manipulate mind. It might be a person, it could be a situation. You might be oh bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, you will get people that will certainly don't make sense to you and try to get you to believe something that ain't true. A lie, nonsense, all kind of little crazy things. When you identify that, it may make it a little easier to transition. You know, if you don't have it on your own, that self-love or confidence, whatever, you start zoning into the BS. You know, the mind looks like, now this don't make no sense. Now you gonna say you love me, I ain't seen you in 2 weeks. And then my little other code, I'm gonna give y'all my little secret code. I give it to a lot of my young clients that come to the salon. They be questioning about relationship. Should I do this, should that? I did that. That was me at one point. But they'll say, what do you think if he did? I said, let me see. If he let you wake up and go to bed and you ain't talked to him in 2 days and you don't like, leave him alone. You don't have to question. He's giving you a sign he ain't bothered with you. Men, I look at men, y'all can correct me, providers want to see, I know how you got him. If he got you usually trying to be around you, hear your voice, see you, and all that stuff. He's trying to come into that relationship to be your protector, to be the only one. But yet now he need a house open and you ain't heard from him in 2 weeks. You ain't get the message there. You know what I'm saying? He done abandoned you. That's abandonment to me. That's abandonment.
Absolutely.
Do you see something different than that? Tell me.
It all depends on the two people.
Okay.
If a woman gives off certain signals,
I agree.
you may respond a certain way. And that's just what it is. It's about figuring out one another.
That's true.
Different needs, because some women that I have met, they don't want to feel like they're being protected, because it makes them feel like they're inferior. Now I'm looking down on you. Now I do agree that the person wants to be around you. I do like to smell it. But I do agree with that. But there are certain times, depending upon what type of signal you're giving off, or that person is giving off. If I feel like you don't want me to be around you, and I've tried a couple times, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait until you're ready. And then you might be saying, well, it's a guy's job to continuously pursue me. Well, you keep pushing me to the side, so I don't think you want me to pursue you, so I'll just wait. And then you're waiting because the guy supposed to pursue. I'm waiting because I'm just constantly being rejected. So
and then we go to communication. That's what something needs to be said. But I say, like, if you addressed it and you communicate, said something, and then you're still getting these results, you're getting your answers. You know, they're talking to you. To me, I'm hearing you. I hear the voice. You ain't got to tell me. If I got to the point to where if you say I'm gonna call you back. I'm still the phone. Don't give me, because I'm like, don't give me no chance. Don't tell me you're gonna do something. I got a problem with it. I got a problem with false promises and stuff. Because I come in, I give myself. But when I see that, you know, this person is just trying to throw me some stuff, or they say, or they'll call back, why I ain't heard from you? Ain't called me. I mean, or what? That's why. I mean, that last conversation.
So you're saying you made yourself available, and this person is just not.
Yes, I have dated, but I do give. That's the way I had to learn to listen and to identify and stop falling into the trap. Because a person that wants to give, I had to learn, like, you know, I love to give. I love to give myself, but I used to give myself so much and overboard. And I said, wait a minute, I was going too much into wifey, and I ain't got the certificate. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing too much. So I had to get stagnant. But I'm like, I'm not running into people. Yeah, I had to slow down because, again, losing myself so much in this person, trying to make them a man, giving them tips like, hey, you should, you know. No, if he says he's going to do something, I'm coming over to see you, he's right. If he came by, then I ain't seen him yet. I ain't seen him since. I'm good. I'm good. Am I wrong?
You're right.
I'm
right.
Well, what you were describing sounds like a deeper issue.
Well, because sometimes people do that, you know, they may hear her say that, and then they'll take on that same type of stance, but they're not paying attention. Like I said, they have a deeper issue. They're pushing this person away, you know. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it's both, you know. That one, but I just wanted to make sure that's open too, because sometimes people they do that.
I have a big problem with rejection. So it's like, if I feel like I'm getting rejected, a lot of times I shut down.
Right.
But, you know, being married 21 years, I learned that, you know, I can't shut down. Because if I shut down, then she's going to be like, well, why are you shutting down? Right? And she may not even know she rejected me. Or it may be the fact that yesterday my boss said something to me and I didn't like it. So she's not really rejecting me. She's just not responding the way I want her to respond because I want her to be close to me because I feel rejected.
Sometimes she might not, or maybe now it's different, but back then, she might not realize you're scared because you're a guy. Why would guys be scared of that? Well, I am scared. That crap hurt. It hurt, and I don't want it to happen again. You know?
Well, the thing is, but it is going to happen again.
Right.
And what you have to do,
and you have to deal with that fear, and you're still scared.
Right. But you know, part of it is, especially if you're really creative, because I heard a pastor talking about this. Right. But if you're really creative, then your imagination goes places where really it doesn't even need to go. Like every time I get my reviews, I'm always like, oh, I didn't do this. But really, you know, my review always comes out great, even though I'm sitting up there like, you know, so.
Your own worst critic.
Right, I'm my own worst critic because my imagination is going like all over the place.
Let me interrupt real quick. I want to hear from my two ladies in the back. If y'all have any perspectives or anything to say, Tiffany and then Michelle.
Perspectives on Well, I do have a comment. Not so much perspectives. This has been very therapeutic for me because I am coming out of a relationship. But your relationship is it. I love it.
Right.
I really love it. It's refreshing.
Yes. We thank God. Not
Give
because
us
it's all been roses.
I have a 94-year-old grandmother that I talk to sometimes, but she's from the old school, so she really doesn't understand, you know, the more current styles of relationships and communicating and all that. But I still like to hear her perspective.
And the thing is, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, people are people. So even though we say we evolved and we do this and that, still relationships are, you can look in the Bible and see that there's relationships that correlate to relationships today. Because God made us a certain way, and that's the way 75% of us are.
I want to take it back real quick. Camille, you was talking about your generation. Okay, not on the raunchy side. I seen something that came out my Facebook page. We talking about the new generation. It was a young guy that had two girls, and they say that's the new thing, and they pregnant.
Yeah.
And I heard that that's the new thing. Like there's a
I don't know
taking
pictures.
So they just like a new relationship, and they people find
They were all taking pictures together.
They said that's
I don't
wrong.
like to share.
I don't know nothing
That's
about
not
that.
But that's the new generation that's going on because I even have a client.
They 30 something. I'm a whole 10 years.
They were at the same dude look like they do at the same time. That's what in the client came to. She said, ask your panel this, what do they think about situational relationship? That's the new thing in the relationship. You
Don't
know,
get that crap off and throw it in the trash can. That don't fit for one generation. There is no generation that just
they
really
starting to introduce
wants
and welcome this stuff though.
They can't
those certain people,
understand
though.
that.
There's
They're
millions
just
of
trying to have
people
fun.
in one generation.
They're just trying to get as much pleasure
There you go.
any way they want.
And they can't represent their
It's
generation.
not going to end well.
You gotta understand that there's a lot of young ladies that have low self-esteem and will tolerate anything for a man. That they, you know, because they don't have a father in their life,
It's a
and
breakdown of
so
the family.
Right.
they just won't.
But
Oh,
you know
man.
what? But that ties into what they're being taught in school nowadays. That ties into what you see on TV nowadays. That's why societies don't fall overnight. They slowly get chipped away. That's why, you know, right? That's why when your kid goes to school and they say, you know, we no longer give out letter grades. Like, what do you mean you don't give out letter grades?
They don't even send on books.
Right. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't have any? It all comes from, first of all, the dumbing down of society. It's like when you gotta have signs up around the university telling you how to cross the street. I'm like, maybe we sending the wrong kids up here. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like
liability stuff. That's liability stuff. That's not really trying to teach you
Oh,
right
for
anything.
insurance.
Yeah, that's what a lot of that stuff is.
No. Those signs are not for those signs. That's a public roadway. That's not owned by African University.
No, but it's going to protect the public. It's going to protect the city. We got the sign up there, but
We got the thing with the person walking and then the hand.
It's still liability.
It's like, okay.
It has nothing to do with relationship with liability.
Okay, then how come they don't have them around elementary schools and high schools?
As far as, say that one more time, we won't have.
How come they don't have those
signs?
same signs around elementary schools and high schools? If it's protecting, how come they don't have them on all corners?
What is that?
You don't have to.
Sign?
It's the sign up at Akron U that says only cross on this signal, and it shows the man walking.
They do
Now,
have
people can get hit in that area.
We gotta get to class.
And people can get hit in that area. That's been a problem area.
Yeah.
Schools don't have any problems now because the system is tight in those areas. A lot of this stuff is liability. And going back to that one little thing, the posting of the guy with the 2 girls, you know how you deal with that? We need to not entertain it. That's a couple individuals, and we can't allow them to represent that whole group.
But the thing is though, that's what's happening in our society. We allow minority groups to come in and change our education. We allow minority groups to come in and change how our kids are being educated.
Yeah, we'll do a lot of stuff.
Right.
So they don't represent a whole generation.
Exactly, it doesn't. But that's how it starts.
Yeah.
You're forced to recognize that.
I don't know. I have really enjoyed myself tonight because I've been the person probably on the other end where I would consider myself a runner because I don't want to be hurt. I've been hurt too many times before. I don't want to be hurt. So, but it took for me to take a step back, just soul searching, loving and liking myself, because I believe there's a difference.
Yeah.
And and also learning how to wait. Learning how to wait. You know, we always think we have the answer to everybody else's problems. You know, there's a solution to everything. But when you take the time out to wait, not just in a relationship between a man and a woman, but just your children, whether you're in school, at church, taking the time to wait and really sit back and listen can take you so far. Yeah, it can take you so far, and you can learn so much. So I really have enjoyed myself tonight.
I'm glad.
I have, and I thank you for loving us.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Giving me a little bit of
because a lot of times this can be a touchy situation. People don't want to talk. People don't want to communicate. We'd rather go to
and
Facebook.
that's our problem. Again, we're talking about relationships.
We want an easy fix.
And you can turn on the TV. I don't have a problem. Once I learn really self-love, I have no problem right down the street without the radio on. I know I'm okay with being in my head.
That's me.
I'm okay with silence. I can deal with silence. You know, I get along with myself so much. I have jokes, we laugh, we go on London all day. Y'all know about her. Well, I have learned just to have an amazing time. But then again, I just learned how to, when I see people needing happiness, I try to share it. They look like they're brushing it down, go home. You know, that's how I know how to detach myself. I'm not emotionally attached to anybody. But I know as we get older, so much going in the world, people want to be happy. You know, they're looking for a place actually to be happy, and they want to be around those type of people. And I think you guys, you know, my panel, I was telling Tamara, we had a great conversation that you guys all came on board regardless. We haven't had, I even talked to Sean in years, and I would be able to reach out and talk to you on Facebook a year, but still to trust me enough. It still was that still a little bit, y'all know y'all love, down from there that y'all remember. I haven't given you anything different that they can still like come, and I that's why I float around. Nobody heard, I see it, I'll do this and stuff like that. I just love everybody just the same in this super natural way, but at the end of the day, that's the way I have been, you know, I keep my love, you know. I don't, he haven't talked to me, I ain't mad at him. If I haven't talked to Sean, I don't get mad. I ain't all, that's emotion, that's the energy that you giving your power. They ain't even thinking about me, you know what I'm saying? They ain't thinking about my pose, they ain't thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? The people, that's another subject we should be going. But that in Facebook right there, you can, if you listen to Facebook, like really listen to some of the posts, you can hear personality, you can hear what's going on, you can hear hurt, pain, all kind of little different things that's on this, you know, Facebook, me, crazy, all, you know, all of that. But you get a sense of people use that as a relationship. That's the only time they get a voice to talk. the share, you see the stuff that they do. Yeah, they actually do that, but, that's just my thoughts, my perspective on everything else. I'm glad you guys, say it.
And I just thank you guys for the men that came out and that are speaking out and stuff. And it puts a whole other perspective on some things.
Cause you can hear,
Like women, we always get together and talk, you know? We always sip our tea and then the guys play the video games.
Right.
It's really
What'd you say, B?
We talked, me and fellas, we talked last Thursday.
All good.
I don't have any guys to talk.
You need some.
Well, it's my
I thought my brother
And I think it's good that the men are here too, and if we have more men, because then you can hear us. You know, we deal with emotions, we talk, and we trying to sort things, figure things out, figure all this stuff out too.
But guys do
Yeah,
too.
we do that, but then to share on it and then come together and then like seeing, I mean, all women don't think alike, all men don't think alike, but we do have some similarities. We do come with this different type of.
There's always, every stereotype comes from the fact that there's some similarities there. So it's like, it's not completely wrong.
Right, and I think it's us coming together like.
Exactly.
Together is great.
And it's not.
I can't let that slide.
You're right. But you're right, though, it's not.
I'm in touch with them.
Yeah.
I express, I share. It's my pet peeve. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
What's that, stereotypes?
Yeah, stereotypes. The whole thing of like men are not in touch with their emotions, blah blah blah. It's just so that's why I'm being like rebellious right now.
But you know, Brian, let me say this. Stereotypes are wrong. But until we, as a whole, show them something different, they're going to agree with what the mass is.
Yep.
I've heard all men were dogs for years. And I agree. I agree because I was in the kennel myself. But I used to say when I was younger, I said, you know what, yeah, all men are dogs, including myself, but as a woman, what do you do with a dog? You train the dog to do what you want them to do. So be strong enough about yourself to say, I got a dog. Just like I'm gonna train this dog to do what I have to do. A lot of women don't want that responsibility to do that. They don't want the time to do that. It's like, boom, you come at me perfect, or I don't want you.
But a lot of men.
But look at the age. At the age of these men, if the men are 20 to 30, that's a wrap. 30 to 40, over 40. I mean, that dude right now is you either push or shove. That's up to him.
You're looking for younger women.
Well, speaking for all single men in the world,
to you on that one, but
no,
Well, women can only do that to a certain point.
Well, you do it to a point to you do it to a point to get what you want. If you don't want it, you leave it go. Like anything else.
Well, that's having patience as you grow.
Patience, waiting, growth.
Right.
It's all the same thing.
Self-happiness. Maybe it's
all the same thing.
There's a lot of reasons why the young thing is.
But I'm just saying it's just unfortunate stereotypes are what it is. It's because
more accepting.
But if you're a good dude and you're not part of the stereotype, you have to change that stereotype in each person, one person at a time. All black men aren't crazy. We ain't all shooting people up.
No,
But every time I let a white person come in front of me on the highway, that white person gonna tell 5 of the white people, okay, all black men ain't bad. Now I have to keep doing that. You have to keep doing that. He has to keep doing that. Jeff has to keep doing that. To kind of combat all the ones that aren't.
Nobody in front of me on the highway.
Hold on, that's what I I don't play video games.
I'm just saying. First of all, you gotta be doing 90 to get in front of me. Because I'm rolling. I got to chop down. Like, these hairs are flying in the wind.
You have no comments, Sean? You want to say?
Yeah, Sean, I'm here for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we missed you. Right, yeah.
I spoke up.
I know. But you are the single woman. You are the single woman without having been divorced, hasn't been illegal. I mean, Good speech.
Right. Like, what's that?
James is the talk show host.
Yeah, he is. I'm gonna give him for
And
this.
that's I love that. What else? I'm gonna want to say, I want to go deep and digress a little bit, just because from what I see, and again, I'm about relationships. I'm about family. You know, us as a community, and how again I mentioned Facebook, how we lost this. You know, if we are, you know, we are a family right now together, and we have lost coming to the table, talking, you know, having communication. Facebook has taken that away from us, you know, to connect. Because I can honestly say, it's been years since I talked to a lot of you all, seen you face to face. I've been seeing this picture, this profile floating up. I don't know who you are, but tonight I can say that I met, you know, I know you, Kevin. I know, you know what I'm saying, I know a little bit more about just hearing your perspective and where you come from. Like, oh, she's pretty cool. She's pretty, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I get to really know what makes you tick, and you know where you been, you know. But yet we, with our children as well, we send them out our house, we brainwash them, you know, form to our home, and then we let them go out into the world, and we don't come back in, come to the table and stop anymore. And what's been going on? Who was that? Yo, you met her? Where you get that from? You know, when you see something different coming out their mouth that's not going to your house, that's coming from your household, you know, body language, or then I didn't want to smoke or drink, whatever, and to find out where'd you get that from? You know, learning a little bit more about our family. I think we just letting the society take over. That's why we got these 2 women pregnant. They seen that. There's a comedian. I see this stuff in California a lot. They put this on TV. People go around the world emulating, not understanding that these people are lost and confused. Some get paid to do this kind of stuff. Publicity stunts get caught by the camera so that y'all can see this and try to cover their lie up. You know, their truth is different than your truth. Their truth costs more, or they lie and all that costs more than yours. It's the same thing, but theirs got more value. Then you think, oh, they cool, they this and they that. So then now again, we see these 2 girls, they pregnant. I don't want to say that the comedian's name, that he made it okay because the cameras validated him as being something special, which they call it a star, you know, because the light is shining on his life and he's making it look cool. So now people of the regular community are going to regular culture, whatever, you know what I'm saying. They're walking around thinking, you know what, this is cool, this is slick. And then these women is like, you know, that's so, you know, it's okay to let this man degrade them in that way, you know, and feel less and playing these white. He ain't married to neither one of them, you know. But they're gonna deliver this man's baby, and he in the middle like, yeah, you know. So I don't know. We just lost a lot, and I just thank God that we able to come together, still walking out the same way, feeling, you know, free from toxic behaviors and lifestyles, and we can walk home loving ourselves the same way. I hope we got something from it more so. Yeah.
I got you. You showed us how to use Facebook properly.
How did I do that?
Look at this right here.
Absolutely. This is a good forum.
Well, come on. Y'all hear that out there?
I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Facebook.
Yeah.
So you use it appropriately.
Yeah, I actually got it.
So you have to go work.
That many people
shows other people.
No, but the people who needed to hear is here.
Yeah, and it's, I guess, we got some people probably watched and they didn't actually see us sit down longer than we supposed to have sat down.
But that's okay. They probably
but that's good because they see us now, even if it's other cultures looking at us come together, not seeing us throwing chairs, shooting at each other, arguing, you know, respecting each other's opinion, own personal opinion and stuff, and we're going to walk home and, you know, leave out of here in peace. You know what I'm saying? We ain't protesting and whatever the case is, we help each other out. And we know how to do that, civil. We look dressed, we nice, we look nice, so we ain't stereotyped, and we showing that, yeah, this can happen. We can come to the table again. We can still come to the table after all these years and still hash it out, talk it out. You know what I'm saying? Laugh at different things. All that. So that's my ending and closing. Unless anybody else, I want to get your last final words from everybody. Keep it short, but your thoughts of tonight. Not so much of the advice, but then as far as even taking away, a takeaway from here, or just maybe an insight, or just share something really quick. I just want to hear you guys' voice because I heard about one.
Well, I want to thank you again because we can always depend on you to get us together.
Right.
Well, I don't want to, wait, let me cut this, wait, let me do this.
Right.
I don't want to
get off that.
Yeah, I don't want to come into me.
I just want to
and
jump
think-
on
I
that.
don't want to get all emotional with something. I don't want to be the Stephanie did it because again, I just see that y'all did it and y'all was willing to say that. So, what you're sharing, I was in respect of what you guys have going on, and the people need to see it. The people need to hear that. And then when I looked at everybody have a balance, and the balance is panning out with different backgrounds, I was like, this would, and they all say yeah, and some people had said no. It was perfect. The ones that said no, this worked out so awesome. They can hear the different voices. I don't need the
Sit there and take it.
But we gained, we gained from that
You asked
because
her. She gave you.
there has to be a moderator or monitor to get all of us together, or we couldn't share our ideas. And I thank everybody for being willing to come out.
Yeah, thank
Who
you.
did and share your ideas. That's about all I got from it. I got a lot more from it, but
counseling on me.
like you said, this is rare, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Samara.
I can really say that I really immensely enjoyed this because I needed it. I needed the interaction. I'm mostly at home by myself. I'm a loner, and I needed it. I really needed this interaction, this good, wholesome conversation, and it was to promote growth, and that's what I love about this whole thing that we had when we got together. And when Stephanie, like I said, when Stephanie called me, it was perfect timing because I was sitting on the couch, like, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? And she called me and she was like, hey, she inboxed me and was like, hey, you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And so it gives me an opportunity to come out and just be around people. And not in a hostile environment, the bickering back and forth and things of that nature. It was wholesome. It was we came real. We was uncut. I felt, only thing that was missing was the drinks and the music. That's it.
And that's the distraction.
And a couple more men. You know what I'm saying? But I can say I really enjoyed myself. And thanks again for inviting me. And happy birthday, lady.
I want to say that I appreciate you inviting me. I was surprised. We go back to Sandbox, just way back, and it was, I really appreciate you inviting me. In light of everything that's going on in the world today, for the last 3 hours, I haven't thought about any of that. I've thought about love. That's what I got. I thought about love, different aspects of love, different views of love. Just haven't thought about anything else that's going on in the world. And that felt really good. So, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. And happy birthday.
Okay. I'm gonna be short and sweet, but I just want to say I think this was real nice put together. My sister is always calling me in the midst of the planning. How you feel about this? What you think about that? So I'm glad that I was able to be available to assist her again with this, and I got a lot out of it. Everybody in the room is at some stage of love somewhere. I mean, it's something that you're either you're thinking about a relationship, you're engaged, you've been married, you've been single, you've been separated, you've been, it's so many different stages of everybody is somewhere. It was really helpful to me. I just don't know what else to say. When she goes into my relationship for 23 years, my goal was just a little bit about me, was to just wanted to see my boys just grow up and try to make it work as far as a family. My kids are now grown, 20, about to be 20, 24, 29. And I just tried to stick it through just to see them through, you know, in the household, we together, whatever. But I told myself I had to make it to tell myself that when my youngest here walked across that stage from Elliott, that was it. Yeah, and then I did. I took my life back. Self-love, had to regain that. You know, I didn't like some things about what I looked in the mirror. I was like, I need to fix it. So people know me from Facebook. I've been just trying to work out, trying to, you know, just trying to get myself together. That's when I met. Well, we met through church, but next thing I know, you know, I looked up. I'm at the track. I'm at the track doing walking and stuff, and then lo and behold, I look up and this man is at the track. He showed up at the track. We started walking, talking, getting to know each other, become friends, communicate. You know, that's how it grew. And November 5th will be a whole year. So, thank you. Happy birthday. Love you. Okay.
Well, thank you again, Stephanie. I was actually nominated for this. You posted for some volunteers, and somebody put my name in.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to come to you anyway before Sean. You know, I was scared.
Right.
And then when Sean put it up in the y'all town, was
but usually when I'm tagged and stuff, I'm like, oh, delete it.
I know.
I saw it was you, and I said, you know what? I remember your karaoke jammy jam you had a few years ago, and I said, you know, I'm gonna do this for him. I'm gonna do this step. And I said, you know, whatever I can offer you.
That was part of another book. That was, wasn't that karaoke on Singleology?
Look out now.
Yeah. No, I think that was karaoke jam. That was Diane Max the Cube.
It was part of an event though. We karaoke after.
Yeah, it was an event.
Okay, I'm listening to that clip for you.
But I still came anyway.
But you just a while ago. You came when I did single. I stood up there. I came to that club and did that. I did karaoke there too. But I had it always came with something. Yeah, it was after an event. You came because I tried to do karaoke.
You waiting? Are you waiting again?
He's waiting. Well, but you know what about that particular event? I had only posted again on the Facebook, and you showed it with your camera. That time, we didn't have a photographer.
And took a bunch of pictures and videos.
Yeah, you just started taking all these pictures and stuff. And I didn't know what we're gonna do, whatever the case may be. Yep.
I thought James was perfect for this too when I saw that.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff you shared on Facebook.
And that's what I'm saying. With the Facebook, we see so much. It's like, what's behind that voice? Who's behind that picture? You know, and you're the truth. Go ahead, Jeff. Take it away.
Happy birthday, Steph.
Thank you.
You know how I'm talking.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm shy.
No, I just I agree that normally I'm thinking about 3, 4, 5, 6 different things at once all the time, right? So, but being here, I was only thinking about maybe 2 or 3. So it was most of it was about love. So, and thinking about relationships and how, how no matter what you do, relationships that you make in life go on. It's like, my dad died when I was 4, but I still remember him taking me to the store and buying me a little water power rocket. I remember that day like it was yesterday, right? So it's like, relationships that you make on this planet are always going to last, so, why not put yourself into them to the point, well, first of all, try to gauge who you're going to put yourself into. You don't want to give 100% to somebody that's not treating you right. So it's like I have nieces and nephews that go through life. But the one guy wrecked my niece's car and told her, I wrecked it because I didn't want you going out. Bye-bye. They still together now. She's pregnant. I'm like, why are you putting yourself through that? It's like she owned her own home. It's like, why are you in New Jersey, which is expensive? I'm like, why are you doing that? So it's like, you want to you want to gauge the people that you have relationships with, and the people that you do have relationships with and that you trust, you want to foster that relationship. The grass is always greener where you water it.
He's still waiting.
I like that. Anybody else that is? You guys go ahead.
James still
James
waiting.
You find him awesome. I gotta reset something. I gotta look at James. Please,
Come on, James.
Now I'm the waiting guy. That's
Patient.
I just wanted to say,
Wrong one.
I just wanted to say, just share with everyone. I guess that was what I was getting to. I chose this because I come from two different perspectives. The man you didn't want and the man I want to be. Two different guys. If you're with a guy that's not up to snuff, you got two choices. Wait for him, help him, and if neither one of those come to pass, then it's best to move on from that. You know, I've considered myself a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of titles. Wife is a title, husband is a title, stockbroker is a title. Single is not a title. Don't think of yourself as I'm single as the same thing you would think of yourself as I'm a husband or wife. Single it's a situation. It's your circumstance. You are single, but it's not your title. Now, I look at myself, the definition of single or singular being one. I'll be the one to make you laugh, one to make you want to hang out, one you want to love, be that one, but not that single. You know, because that's, it carries a bad connotation, a bad baggage when you just, I'm single, man, it sucks, you know, my life is over. No. And hopefully you'll find that other person who considers themselves, hey, I'm out here, I'm being me, patiently waiting for whoever comes and ever wants me. That's what we do. And if you're in a relationship too that is not quite the one you want to be in, he's not quite the one, she's not quite the one, I always consider myself, okay, I'm with this person for whatever the case may be, but I'm practicing with this person for the one I'm going to be with.
Right. Like that.
A doctor is always practicing. That's why he's a practicing physician who's practicing medicine. Whether he's a doctor, intern, or in his 50th year as a doctor, he's practicing. Practice for the one, meaning learn from what you're into. Learn your circumstances. Learn from that relationship and take from it good and bad. And take, as someone said, take those good and bad things to the next one. You know, I mean, you treat everyone differently, but you always treat yourself the same. This is what I have to give. This is who I am, and I love myself. It's your choice. And let them decide. Now I'm done.
I love talking about relationship. I can talk about it all night until my teeth turn away. But thank you guys. I know I won't. I know y'all gotta go to work and school and all of that. And you are. I just definitely want to close down. Thank you again for coming out, saying yes. Thank you again downloading the book, The Wifey Guide, The Secrets to Getting Anything You Want while giving him everything he needs. And the BS decoder, how to identify BS from a mile away. Those are sister books. You can't have one without the other, because other than that, like I said, it's all a waste. So, you prepare from my book, I say 8 basic steps to loving yourself, which really should have been the first book. Other than that, you guys drive safe, have a good night, and I hope to have this opportunity to come back again or go to another state. So, all right. Thank you.